It's a case that has spanned across 2 provinces, but has come up with very little evidence or very little answers. I'm talking about the disappearance of Marshal Iwaasa. Joining me now is Kassie Iwaasa, who is married to Marshal's first cousin. Kassie, thank you so much for joining me today on this very touchy and very important topic of your, I guess it's your cousin through marriage, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so first of all, here in Lethbridge in southern Alberta, Calgary, and into BC, especially here in Lethbridge, we all know what's happened with Marshal, that he was last seen on Sunday, November the 17th, and very little has come up since then. About a week later, his truck was found in British Columbia, burnt out, and nothing has really come up of Marshal since. But you're here to talk about the investigation and maybe put to rest some misconceptions about the case and just any new information that the public really isn't aware of. I know your family's done a really great job on the Find Marshal Iwaasa Facebook page, and so it's been a really great source of information. Okay, so let's start by talking about Marshal. Who is he? What type of a guy is he? Would it be super out of character for him to just suddenly disappear?
We believe it would definitely be out of character for him to disappear. He's a very likable guy. He was born and raised in Lethbridge, went to high school here, has a lot of friends, a lot of close family members, and he's just an all-around really good person. He's quiet but fun, and he's a good guy.
Okay.
He is, yeah.
So he was last seen that you know of on Sunday, November 17th, right? Like Marshal was living in Calgary, but came to Lethbridge for the weekend or for the day. Why don't we go through that last day? Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so he was coming to Lethbridge to go to his storage unit on November 17th. Before he went to the storage unit, he stopped at his mom's house, and they had a quick conversation or a little visit, and then he went to the storage unit. I don't think he realized that between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m., the storage unit locks people out of the gate. So you need to put in a code to enter the yard, basically. So the gate will lift up and let you access the yard. And it was, he couldn't get in between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m.
So this is Sunday going into Monday?
Going into Monday, and he got there after 11. So we were able to see that he entered his code a few times throughout the night, and then finally getting in just after 6. And then he was in there for just over 2 hours, and then we seen that he left almost at 8:30.
Okay.
So on Monday, November 18th.
November 18th. And you know this because surveillance picked it up?
No, they could just tell when the code was used. So their surveillance was erased after 7 days, and by the time we figured out he was missing and we tried retracing his steps, the surveillance was gone. Okay.
Oh, talk about timing. Yeah. Okay, so do you know why he was in the storage room?
So he needed a box for a piece of his computer. So he built his own computer. He was a computer guy. That's what he was originally going to school for. And he needed to send a piece away because his computer was broken. So he was looking for something to do with his computer.
Okay. Yeah. And he was in there for 2 hours?
Yes.
Okay. I guess that's normal. I don't know. I mean, especially if you haven't been back to your storage room in a long time and if it's really full.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. He was last there in August, so it's not like he was there all the time. But yeah, since then the storage unit has been searched, and nothing is weird about it. Everything seems normal. Everything is still there.
Yeah. So. And his mom knew he was heading there,
right?
And then heading back to Calgary.
To Calgary. Yeah.
Okay. So, any idea where he spent that night? From Sunday night to Monday morning?
Just by the looks of things, like we can see that he did try to enter the code a few times throughout the night. So it seems like he was just there.
He was just hanging out outside the storage unit in his truck. Interesting. Okay, so you find out he was in and out. He had been gone by 8 in the morning or something?
Yeah, I think it was like 8:24 was the exact time the code was used to leave the yard.
Okay, and that would be Monday, November the 18th.
Yes.
And then what happens?
Um,
Nobody hears from him again?
no, so we didn't know anything was wrong. We just assumed he would have been in Calgary, right? It's like we don't talk to him every day or,
Sure. Yeah.
So we didn't know anything happened until Paige got a call on November 26th from the BCRCMP saying that they believed Marshall's truck was found near Pemberton and was burnt. And the only reason they believed it was Marshall's truck was because they found his passport outside of the vehicle.
Okay. Now, my understanding is, I know there's been a lot of talk about, oh, the passport, maybe that's what he went to storage for. Maybe that's why, maybe he was trying to leave the country, but that's actually a misconception, isn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't that surprising to us that the passport was, it was surprising to us in a way that the passport was left there to identify the vehicle, but it wasn't that surprising that the passports, he had his expired passport and his valid passport were both outside. And Paige's Marshall's sister, said that when she was in his vehicle in August, he had both of his passports in the truck. And she even told him that you probably shouldn't leave your passports in your vehicle.
Right.
Yeah, but that's where he kept them.
Definitely.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
So what did the police tell you about the burnt truck and what was found there?
There was a lot of items found there that they believed were Marshall's. The police didn't tell us much about the truck. It was never investigated how it even started or, But they did search that area. They searched it for 5 days. They had dogs out there, and they searched the area. They had helicopters looking for him, but we didn't get much information.
Yeah. So what now? In one of the items that we heard from police was that other than passports, there was other ID. There was clothing possibly found, or a bag. That belonged to Marshall as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
There was clothing. There was a toiletry bag.
Okay.
There was a laptop. There were smashed cell phones. Well, the smashed cell phones is what it was reported, but they were broken cell phones that he had just had in his glove box, and they hadn't been used in years. Okay. That was another big public misconception, I think, about the 3 cell phones, that something else would have been happening, but they were all, like, one of them I don't think was used since like 2005 or something.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
They weren't sketchy cell phones.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's just got old cell phones and an expired passport in his, I guess, a glove box or something?
Yeah, in his glove box.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And were there any other items found around the truck that maybe didn't belong to him?
We do think that there was items that didn't belong, for sure. We haven't actually been able to see the items. We've asked to, but we're not able to. And just to kind of confirm, and we don't know.
And it was described by police to you? Like, we found this, and this, and you're like, oh, well, that doesn't sound right.
Right.
Okay. Are you able to talk about what that might be?
No.
You want to just kind of keep that?
Yes. There's certain things that they have asked us to not disclose still.
Yeah. They don't want to compromise any investigation, of course.
Right.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the other thing interesting is we found out that he had just paid off his truck too, right?
Yeah, in September. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So obviously it's not like something he would do and torch his own truck if he wanted to just disappear.
That's where, yes, when we think about, we've covered every scenario and more, I feel like, but when we think about the truck, and if he were to disappear, like, he just paid it off in September. He had a 6-year lease that he just finished paying off in September. Like, he could have easily sold the truck. We would have never known he sold the truck until who knows when, and then took 20 grand and had cash.
Yeah.
He did not have fire insurance on the vehicle, so there was no point in him doing that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What was Marshall doing in Calgary? Like, he's from Lethbridge, but he was living in Calgary, so he had a place there.
Yes. Okay. He was living in a basement suite. He started going to school at SAIT in September 2018 for software development, and he finished 2 semesters there. And as far as we knew, he was still in school, but it wasn't until his disappearance that the police found that he did not enroll for the September 2019 semester.
Okay. Okay, interesting. Do you know if he was working?
He was, we believe, doing some kind of computer internship. We were able to see, I don't even know what this program is called, but he had 800 hours of work on something. We haven't been able to even get into this to see what it was, but somehow someone was able to see that he had spent 800 hours working on something.
Wow. Do you know any people in Calgary that were connected with him? Any of his friends or anything like that?
No, that's kind of one piece of the puzzle that we're really missing, is who he would have met there. Like, he had a few friends in Calgary that he knew from Lethbridge that moved to Calgary, but as far as new people, we don't know.
Right.
But we did talk to his landlord, and his landlord lived upstairs. She owned the house, and Marshall was in the basement. She basically just said he was very quiet, very friendly, like they shared a laundry room, so she did know him. And she said there wasn't a lot of people coming and going or any besides Marshall.
Right. Yeah. Okay. And I guess one of the significant dates was like the December 1st rent.
Yes.
Right. You guys were kind of waiting to see, is he going to pay his rent?
For sure, because he always paid his rent on time. So we thought, well, maybe he's working somewhere and maybe someone stole his truck and burnt it, and maybe he doesn't even know it's been torched, right? Like, because he did before he went back to school. I mean, he was 26, so he went back to school late. So he did work various oil jobs or whatever, right? So we thought that's where he could have been, but we knew he would have even sent an e-transfer or did something on the 1st, and the 1st came and gone, and yeah.
Now, have you been allowed to look at, like, did the police find his current cell phone?
No.
So that's missing.
His current cell phone, his current laptop. He did get a laptop at SAIT that is still missing.
Okay. Yeah. So he's got a laptop missing. His current phone is missing.
Right.
Have you been able to talk to whoever his mobility provider is, or is that like?
So he didn't use his cell phone at all. I don't know the exact dates, but in November sometime, but before his disappearance.
Okay, so they were able to at least let you guys know that.
Yeah.
What a mystery this has been. Now, one of the reasons I really wanted to talk about this is because we broadcast nationally, coast to coast, and I don't know how much coverage this is getting beyond BC and Alberta. Hopefully it's reached, far and wide, but I don't know. Do you have any idea how far this has kind of stretched?
I definitely know it's mostly Lethbridge. We have over 11,000 people in our group on Facebook, which is awesome, but a lot of them are from Lethbridge. Then I think Calgary would be the next, because we can see where people are from. Yeah. Then Vancouver, I think Saskatchewan has a few, but I think mostly it's been Alberta, BC.
Right. Yeah. Now, what are you, besides wanting Marshall back, what are you hoping to see happen? What do you want the public to do? What can we do to help you?
Basically, it's just getting the word out there. Like, we've still had, up until a few weeks ago, even people in Lethbridge that had no idea, right? We think we're reaching a lot of people, but then there's always people that didn't even hear about it. So it's just getting the word out there that's the hugest struggle.
Right. Yeah. And I've been following the Facebook page, and I've seen posts about how people will go and put up missing posters, and then they'll go back and it's been taken down by maybe the store owner or something.
So don't take the posters down. Yes, I think people assume he's been found by now, and so we just spent so much time asking people to jog their memories, and now it's kind of scary because it's been so long. Like, unless there was something weird that you've seen, you wouldn't remember the person you were getting gas next to 3 months ago, right?
Right. Yeah. And have you guys tried to go back to BC and kind of retrace any? I know there's probably a dozen different ways to get to Pemberton, right?
Pemberton, yes, there is.
Yeah.
And that was the one thing if we could even we didn't find one piece of security footage, which is so insane in this day and age. Like, I can't believe that he made it there, or the truck made it there without being seen. Yeah, so if we could just find one piece of footage that showed even him driving there, like was it even him that took the truck there? Was he alone?
Yeah.
Those are huge questions that we don't have the answers to.
Gosh, what a mystery. And Paige, his sister, has since gone back to the apartment he had in Calgary, and there wasn't any
It's been, well, we had to clean it out, right? We did pay for December's rent, and then and then January, we paid that as well. That was hard, like knowing, like, do we clean it out? Because you're just hoping that you don't have to do that. That makes it so official, but we did. And nothing, there's nothing weird, nothing out of place.
How is the family coping? How is everyone getting through this?
It's been definitely hard. Like, we still talk about Marshall all the time. We still have the conference calls. Like, I think there's 8 of us often that will just talk. And I think just because we are so close, that makes it easier for everybody, right? Like, we have a lot of support, so thank goodness for that, right? So, but it's hard, especially not knowing. Like, that's the hardest thing, is not knowing what happened, and your mind just goes crazy, like, all the time, just thinking, well, what if this happened? But then this doesn't make sense, and this doesn't make sense, right? And
probably 1,000 different scenarios.
Right, yes. So that's just, we just want answers. Ultimately, we want him home, but we just need answers.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just answers you're just not getting. And has it been sometimes frustrating? Like, people will, have you gotten any tips that maybe ended up not?
Oh, we've gotten lots of tips. Yeah. Like, lots of people who think they've seen him, but nothing. And the police say that they've looked into all of them, but nothing has been confirmed sightings or anything.
And it was initially RCMP in BC, right? Pemberton
right, and then it went to Calgary Police, and then it went to Lethbridge.
Okay.
Yes.
It's frustrating. I can feel it. I can feel the frustration with it all.
Yes, and it's so far. Like, that's the thing, is we don't know exactly what happened and where it happened. Like, the distance between us is so far.
Is that like about 10 hours or so?
Yeah, the route we probably think he would have taken to get there is about 14.
Oh, gosh.
Yes, and that's like mountains and, right? Like, it's, so, but that's where it was really frustrating, is that not one gas station. He had to have stopped for gas, we think, at least 2 to 3 times in his truck. And like that, not one, nothing caught it.
Kassie Iwaasa, thank you so much for joining me in the studio today and talking about this. It's very difficult for you and your family, I understand that, but it's also so important to get the word out. So join that Facebook page. It's Find Marshal Iwaasa on Facebook. And pay attention to the posts and keep your eyes and ears open. And that's all we can really do for now until we have any more leads or information. Thank you so much, Kassie.
Thank you.
We'll have more on BCN.